For Northeast, just beautiful. It's stunning. I mean, this is my first trip to Assam, and I really hope. I'm very embarrassed to admit that I haven't seen a lot more than say Janu Barua's films or Reema Das's films. I think what one looks for cinema from any part of the country other than maybe Bollywood is local personal stories, and I think that from the Northeast, I'm very embarrassed to admit that I haven't seen a lot more than say Janu Barua's films or Reema Das's films. And why does someone like Reema Das stand out? Why do her films, Village Rockstars, all of her films. I mean, why do they stand out? They stand out because they're very personal stories which are very authentic to the world that they're set in. Tora's Husband. I mean, all the films that she's made, they're beautiful films that tell universal stories while being extremely authentic to the world that they're set in. So I think what we look for when we look at cinema from the Northeast or cinema from the South or cinema from Punjab is that you get local stories with local flavor and which capture the sort of essence of what it feels to be someone from that part of the world. And I think that the more local and the more personal, actually the more universal they become and the more sort of pan-India that they become. I think that it's a small industry right now, but I think that with festivals like BVFF, I think growth is inevitable. I think that the main thing is that for the industry to grow, you need filmmakers who may start out as local Assamese filmmakers, but who continue to work in Assam, because the industry will be powered only when people who've had sort of success continue to put that success into their own cinema. So and Reema Das, again, I'm sorry I'm going back to Reema Das because that's a filmmaker that I know of and whose films I know of, is doing that beautifully. She's not suddenly deciding to become a Bollywood filmmaker or a Hollywood filmmaker. She's someone who wants to tell rooted stories continuously, and I think that is what is needed for the growth. Will Assamese cinema grow? Undoubtedly it will. The stories are already traveling. I think today with streaming, you can make a small local Assamese film and the world will watch it. Not just India, but the world will watch it because it's available at the click of a button. But tell stories that are unique, tell stories that are personal, and tell stories that platforms want to pick up for those very reasons. This year, my favorite film this year was Lapata Ladies. I just think it's a beautiful example of a film which is so local and so personal, and a film which is not your big commercial film, and yet it speaks such a universal language. That is a story that you could be sitting in Guwahati, you could be sitting in Mumbai, you could be sitting in South Africa, and you'll still understand the story because the emotions are so universal and so human. So my pick for 2024, Lapata Ladies, hands down. For Northeast, just beautiful. It's stunning. I mean, this is my first trip to Assam, and I really hope that I get to come back. I hope the BVFF invites me again next year because I really want to come back. I just want to say that you're such an important integral part of the fabric of this country, and just I would really rather talk about the filmmakers from the Northeast. I want to say that we're looking to you to show us the way. We're looking to you to tell personal stories, to tell local stories, because cinema is also a window into the world. For people that have never traveled to the Northeast, our only understanding of the Northeast will be through films and books and art. So one is constantly looking at cinema that is coming out from every region, because that becomes our window to that part of the world. I think if there are stories, I mean, a film like Rock On 2 was shot in Shillong. I'm sure there are other films. They're not immediately coming to mind. I think if the story is set here, I think filmmakers in Bollywood are constantly looking for new places and new landscapes to explore and exploit. So the story, but it's important to not treat the Northeast or to treat Assam just as a picture postcard. You need to set the story here. You need to find a reason to come here, and I think those are the best stories.